And mechanistic science has a very difficult time explaining how meaning is processed by the brain. So if somebody says to you, I love you, and you're in love with them, then your body makes all these wonderful molecules, serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin. They're immunomodulators. They modulate the activity of the immune system. And all you heard was 3 words, I love you. Now, but let's say the person who said, I love you, is the person you are thinking of divorcing, then you won't make these molecules. You won't make dopamine and opiates and oxytocin. You'll make toxic molecules, and your blood pressure will go up, and your adrenaline will go up, your cortisol will go up, your heart rate will speed up, your platelets will get jittery, your cholesterol will go up. But the words are the same, right? I love you. The vibration of the atmosphere is the same. The electrical current that goes to the brain is the same. Input is the same. And the words are the same. But the output is completely different because of the meaning that you give to those 3 words. The meaning that you give to those 3 words. The context that you relate to those 3 words. Exactly the same process, but a completely different biology. And this is something that confuses mechanistic science, because they say, how can the brain process meaning? The brain is a mechanical structure. It's like asking a computer to process meaning. The brain cannot process meaning. The brain cannot process purpose. The brain cannot have imagination. The brain cannot have insight. The brain cannot have intuition. The brain cannot have creativity. The brain cannot have free will. And so giving all the credit to the brain, which is what mechanistic science has done, is totally wrong, because the brain is a physical structure. The brain is a set of molecules, and molecules don't process meaning or purpose. Molecules don't ask themselves, who am I? Why am I here? What's the meaning of my existence? Does God exist? Do I have a soul? What is the meaning of death? Molecules don't ask those things. So this is the limitation of physical science.
What is the most astounding fact you can share with us about the universe?
The most astounding fact.
The most astounding fact
is the knowledge that the atoms that comprise life on Earth, the atoms that make up the human body, are traceable to the crucibles that cooked light elements into heavy elements in their core under extreme temperatures and pressures. These stars, the high-mass ones among them, went unstable in their later years. They collapsed and then exploded, scattering their enriched guts across the galaxy. Guts made of carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and all the fundamental ingredients of life itself. These ingredients become part of gas clouds that condense, collapse, form the next generation of solar systems, stars with orbiting planets. And those planets now have the ingredients for life itself. So that when I look up at the night sky, and I know that, yes, we are part of this universe, we are in this universe, but perhaps more important than both of those facts is that the universe is in us. When I reflect on that fact, I look up. Many people feel small because they're small and the universe is big, but I feel big because my atoms came from those stars. There's a level of connectivity. That's really what you want in life. You want to feel connected. You want to feel relevant. You want to feel like You're a participant in the goings-on of activities and events around you. That's precisely what we are, just by being alive.
Today, it's possible to do a little bit of mathematical calculations based on what are called radioactive isotope studies. And you can prove without a shadow of doubt that right this moment, you have 1 million atoms that were once in the body of Jesus Christ, or Buddha, or anyone you want to think about. In just the last 3 weeks, 1 quadrillion atoms have gone through your body that have gone through the body of every other living species on this planet. So think of a tree in Africa, a squirrel in Siberia, a taxi driver in Calcutta. You have stuff in your body that was there only 3 weeks ago. Okay. In less than 1 year, you recycle now. We used to think it was 5-7 years. In less than 1 year, you recycle 98% of all the matter in your body. So at the atomic molecular level, you have a new liver every 6 weeks. A new stomach lining every 5 days, new skin once a month, a new skeleton. It seems so hard, but a skeleton is a dynamic organ with calcium, phosphorus, everything coming and going. And by the end of 1 year, you replace almost all your body, 98%, few bits of collagen and cartilage which take a little longer turnover. So this body that Satish invited is my 2011 model. And the last time I came, I brought with me the same suitcase, but not the same physical body. Okay. I brought, my suitcase has a little longer shelf life than my physical body. So, you know, this raises a big question in science today. Who are you? If you think you're your physical body, then you have a bit of a problem. Which one are you talking about? So while my physical body has recycled from the ecosystem, it's part of the biosphere, the unfortunate word, environment, while it's recycled, and you know, my personal body from year 2010 is dead, it's gone. I haven't died in the meanwhile, so I hope you agree this is scientific proof for the existence of life after death. Our consciousness is constantly outliving the death of the molecules through which it expresses itself. It's doing it right now. You don't need further proof of reincarnation. These are reincarnated cells. Okay? These weren't there a month ago, but they remember the difference between hot and cold and pleasure and pain. It's the memory that's reincarnating. Okay? It's the memory. It's always reincarnating as this physical body. So let's go a little deeper. You go look at these molecules that are recycling. You see their atoms, and then you look at the atoms, and they're subatomic particles, and they're all coming from an emptiness. And that's where the real action is, that emptiness. Now, today scientists call it the quantum vacuum of the universe, which isn't disappeared. It's right there. If that wasn't active, you and I wouldn't be here. Okay, the quantum vacuum didn't disappear with the Big Bang. It just started a whole series of activities that are still going on, but the quantum vacuum of physics is there right this moment, and you and I and everything exists because it's there. That's what scientists call it. But you know, you look at the poetry of Rumi 700 years ago, he says, we come spinning out of nothingness, scattering stars like dust. He says, look at these worlds spinning out of nothingness. This is within your power. Who else? The Buddhists talk about shunyata, that is beyond subject-object split, beyond the observer and the observed. Vedantists, they talk about chitakash. The akash is not empty, but it's full of well, chit means consciousness, so they go even beyond, but any scientist will tell you today that 1 cubic centimeter of space, right here, 1 cubic centimeter of space has 10 to the power of 37 times more mass energy than the entire universe. Incomprehensible. That includes the Milky Way galaxy, Andromeda, everything, all the suns, the stars, the planet. There's more mass energy here.
So where has this pursuit taken you?
Oh my God.
Where have you landed?
Why would you ask that?
I'm asking you that here and now. It's New York City. It's March 7th.
Well, partly it's taken to these very strange images that are behind your head right now. These are pictures of equations. I've been, for the last 15 years, trying to answer the kinds of questions that my colleagues here have been raising. And what I've come to understand is that there are these incredible pictures that contain all the information of a set of equations that are related to string theory. And it's even more bizarre than that, because when you then try to understand these pictures, you find out that buried in them are computer codes, just like the type that you find in a browser when you go surf the web. And so I'm left with the puzzle of trying to figure out whether I live in the Matrix or not.
Wait, you're blowing my mind at this moment. So you're saying, are you saying your attempt to understand the fundamental operations of nature leads you to a set of equations that are indistinguishable from the equations that drive search engines and browsers on our computers?
That is correct. So,
wait, I have to just be silent for a minute here. So you're saying as you dig deeper, you find computer code writ in the fabric of the cosmos?
Into the equations that we want to use to describe the cosmos, yes.
Computer code.
Computer code, strings of bits of ones and zeros.
It's not just sort of resembles computer code, you're saying it is computer code.
It's not even just is computer code, it's a special kind of computer code that was invented by a scientist named Claude Shannon in the 1940s. That's what we find very, very deeply inside the equations that occur in string theory, and in general in systems that we can say are supersymmetric.
Okay. Time to go home, I think. I mean, where are we going to go? So are you saying we're all just, there's some entity that programmed the universe and we're just expressions of their code?
Well, I didn't say that. Some of those
like the Matrix? That's what you said.
Some of those codes are showing on the screen behind you right now. They don't look like codes, but these pictures, which we call adinkras, are graphical representations of sets of equations that are based on codes. So this is, in fact, to answer your question more directly, I have in my life come to a very strange place, because I never expected that the movie The Matrix might be an accurate representation of the place in which I live. And so my statement is that in the description of our universe, that is a supersymmetrical universe, which we were going to test in the LHC. If you believe that description, I can show you the presence of these codes.